Oh god, it's me first. Hi, I'm Sif underscore VTuber. I art, I game, I shill things that I really like this campaign or my Curse of Strahd campaign, or Mistwalkers, or Nexus, or Ares' webcomic, or Vesper's horror art. But yeah, I'm here role playing as Gwyn, silly little bird guy. There's nothing else going on. The player has no plans. His head is empty. Expect really weird RP tonight. And I'm very happy to be back. I love you guys so much. Bye. Bye.
Yellow, that's me. Hello, everyone. My name is Lily. I'm an aspiring artist that has both a Blue Sky and a Tumblr. I draw a lot of D&D things, including stuff from this campaign quite a bit. It gives me some nice brain rot and exposure to drawing two people in a scene, which, is very good practice. As far as other things that I do, I also playing a bunch of campaigns with these lovely individuals. And I DM my own campaign, Mistwalker Spectrum of Eternity, which is a horror, very gay campaign. Happy Pride. And recording a new session for that on Saturday. Very excited. It's been a lot of fun. So if you like horror and gay people, that's a good place to start. But yes. I say we've been in 3 sessions straight of downtime, so we're hopefully going to be getting back to the plot.
It's
Hello, my name is Vesper Fortune. I am a VTuber, a writer. I'm basically a variety person. Tonight I'll be playing Oleander, our fave disaster deer and God's least favorite chew toy. When I'm not when I'm not doing that, I do not do any other D&D stuff except for be lore consultant on Comet Tales, which you can see Lily and Marison, and I am part of their pain there.
Hello, I'm Erasima, or ArestheHarpy. I am a bird, playing a bird, who is way more toxic than I am. I do
To be
streams and art and
determined.
stuff.
There we go. I'm not sure if it was being picked up via OBS, so that's fun. I guess I'll find out in the recording what's been going on. Cool. Moving on. With all of the players, including one Damus gathered, Essie plainly revealed that Cornelius and Isolde's disappearance, that Isolde was his sister, that she never returned to the heavens, and that their mother led a search party for her before his own descent. Oleander shared his crystal dagger, as did Damus, and together the group pooled their collective information, discovering the existence of a crystal sword, potentially within the possession of Prince Alto. Damus also revealed the stardust in his blood to the group, and Essie confirmed that Damus is in fact infused with the power from his mother Estella, who fell on the wrong side of the wall 14 years ago. And upon further questioning, Damus confessed that his master Cassian commanded him to attend the trials with the intention of bringing back Essie's heart one way or another, though he insisted that he had no intention to harm him, going so far as to gift Essie a Babylon candle, a piece of witchcraft used to teleport to unseen places, even as far as the heavens, to prove his own good intentions. Topaz asked Essie and Gwyn to linger after their meeting, wanting clarity and open communication regarding the nature of their relationships, where Gwyn confessed that he had placed Essie and Topaz on equal standing, and his intention was to have the both of them should they wish it. As they left the observatory, Luella and Oleander stumbled upon a hushed conversation between Alto and Adora, where she expressed her displeasure in his failed attempts to seduce Essie. Oleander staked out the location mentioned in his secret letters, though no one arrived, but Dame Leonora was also seen surveying the location, implying that someone turned over their letter to her. Topaz and Skalm had a conversation in which he warned her about Gwyn and how he's fooled her entirely, and she would never be considered his equal and could never know the truth about him or his ambitions. He was intercepted by a Captain Wilde, who arrived late for his dance lessons with Topaz, where they did have a moment of cheerful reprieve. He instructed her in the waltz, and they discussed the book that he gifted her. However, as the conversation about the characters and their dalliances continued, Topaz came to the realization that Wilde might be confiding his own feelings. Suddenly stricken with a panic attack, Topaz fled the ballroom despite Wilde's attempts to calm them. And in the evening, Oleander met with Plague to send an update about his well-being to their father and expressed his concerns about the manner of his invitation to the trials. Oleander shared with Plague his suspicions surrounding Prince Alto and his presumed crystal sword, but Plague asked to be notified should these suspicions prove true. The two part, recalling more nostalgic days, and Plague makes Oleander promise to stay safe, while also promising in return that should the worst happen, he would get both Damis and Parthenia out of Hollowlight. And that is where we pick things up, my friends. So, a new day begins. Before we jump right into the agenda for today, I want a quick reminder of all of the rumors that are currently at play. So, first and foremost, Gwyn has many other illegitimate children, as implied by previous circulating rumors between him and Luella, and his closeness with several others within Hollowlight. This is a full-blown scandal. Most people will believe this is true. Next, the relationship between Topaz and Gwyn has evolved from mere friendship into something of a romantic nature. The two were seen in each other's intimate company in the gardens at night. Next, Luella and Alto were seen having a nocturnal rendezvous in her room, and people speculate that she has found another rich and powerful man to ensnare. Next, Essie has already decided the victor of the trials, and they are not at Hollowlight. The trials are a mere sham to weed out those who are overly ambitious and lacking true love. Next, Dame Leonora isn't actually the master of ceremonies, and someone else is pulling the strings behind the scenes. Next, due to his willingness to mentally harm the contestants in the third trial, and from Dame Leonora's perceived weakness, it is rumored that Essie is not actually a star at all, and is secretly a witch. And then we have a few fading rumors, including that Gwyn is rigging the trials, bending people to his will to make sure he comes out on top. By demonstrating his ability to humiliate his competition, people are questioning Gwyn's honorable persona. And Alto and Adora's lineage is once again called into question. People are debating if they have a claim to the throne at all. And all of your reputation trackers, with the exception of one, are remaining the same going into this session, just because most of your social encounters in the previous session were quiet and discreet and behind closed doors. So society at large was not privy to really anything that you've been up to. The one change is Topaz, since you reached the +3 positive status last time and gained a positive reputation tag, you are now automatically back to neutral ground. So just as a reminder, Gwyn, you are at a -2, you still have your advantage on deception checks, and you still have your positive ambitious reputation tag. Topaz, you're at neutral, you have your positive reputation tag sincere. Oleander, you're at a +2, you have advantage on persuasion. Luella, you have a +1 reputation, you have advantage on insight, and you still have your positive warm reputation tag. Any questions about rumors and reputations and where we currently stand? Excellent.
All good.
Cool. Cool. All right. with that, we will kick off our epistolary phase. Who would like to volunteer to go first?
I need to know.
Uh-huh. You want to go first?
Yes, I do.
Alrighty. What letters do you have for me?
Yes, so I have one short letter and one long letter, so we'll do the short one first.
Mm-hmm.
So the first letter is going to be to Damus.
Okay.
Letter is simple, just says, Damus, please come to my room whenever you have a moment later today. Has Oleander been treating you well? You seem to be relying on him quite heavily during our meeting yesterday, and it worried me that he has been controlling. Perhaps I can help you find that confidence in yourself some more. Mick Stoneheart.
Oh. You will get a response. It's very short and says something to the effect of, yes, I'm alright, thank you for your concern, but I don't know why you're concerned. Anyway, I don't know if it's proper for me to go to your room, but if you say it's okay, then I will stop by.
That's good enough for me.
Alright, so you will meet up with Damus later.
Hmm?
What next?
Alrighty. Yeah. Next is a nice long letter to Wilde.
Mm-hmm.
So just playing off of what happened last night, let's get into it. Wilde. I do not think that this will be a well-organized letter. Please bear with me. Words cannot express the way that I felt last night that brought on my panic attack and caused me to leave prematurely. I have had some of the most emotionally involved weeks I have ever had, and I found myself surrounded by things and feelings I never thought that I would be able to experience. Please allow me to clarify in detail. You should not be surprised, given your aptitude for reading people, that I have found myself developing feelings and affections for Gwyn. He is, quote, the second. However, I find myself a muddled mess of myself in terms of what to do with these feelings. I hear so many conflicting accounts of the man. The one that I see is different than the one that others see and have known. I want to believe that he would not use me like Skalm says, but I cannot dismiss the possibility. So I'm left feeling like Marianne if she was told about the whole situation with Willoughby right before the proposal. Incredibly confused, but still wanting to see the best in him. Essie, on the other hand, has been a steadfast friend above all else, and a rock to me and my wavering confidence and emotions. He has never once led me astray. He has pushed me, but in a way that I think has helped me become a better person. His friendship and our relationship has meant the world to me here in Hollowlight. He was my first kiss, and I felt everything I could have hoped I would. I think I may love him, but I'm scared to allow myself these feelings, given the nature of the game. Then there's you, Wilde. Wilde, you were the first man I ever felt affection towards. I figured, given the nature of your visits, that it was just a friendly one, but I felt such an attraction to your presence, your entire being. I often wished that you would just lift me away from my family and we could explore the world, read books, see shows, and do everything we ever wanted. But that dream faded with time as visits became less frequent. I put those feelings away, assuming it was never meant to be. Then, last night, when we were dancing and discussing Sense and Sensibility, I realized that we were not talking about the book anymore. We were talking about, well, me And you, and either Gwyn or Essie, you are just as Colonel Brandon to me. Steady, always watching, and always caring. And all at once, amongst the tempest of emotions I have been feeling for others, all of my previous feelings came flooding back, and I shut down. Not believing that it could truly be possible. I, who thought just a few weeks ago that I may never experience the love that I longed for in my stories, surrounded by 3 different, powerful, beautiful, and handsome men, all who wanted my affections in return. And yet here I am writing this, and it's not like I even know for sure that this is how you feel. I could just be making assumptions based on a metaphorical comparison that I drew in my own head. Gods, that would be so like me to do so. I could be ruining everything we have, but I have to know the truth. As for my own feelings, I continue to find myself lost. Wilde, I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sure that I did. You deserve to know the whole truth. And this may not be the confession you were hoping for, but I'm not strong enough to say this face to face. I apologize once more. Before I have a proper answer to your affections, I need more time. I still want to dance with you later tonight. Just as things were before, if that's all right. Topaz.
Oh, man. What that is just, mwah, mwah. Such a Pride and Prejudice confession letter there. Thank you. What a treat.
You are so welcome.
Yeah, you send that off, and you wait with bated breath for a response. Those are all of your letters?
That is all my letters.
Okay. When your post comes, Topaz, there are in fact 2 letters for you.
God.
One is one that you were both expecting and probably dreading. It's the familiar black paper golden seal.
Yeah.
The other, however, is on crisp white paper and a seal that you recognize, but you have not seen for a very long time. It is the sigil of a very particular printing press in the capital, one that you know is owned by your sister Diamond. Which would you like to open first?
I think, as surprised as they are to see Diamond, I think he would be like, I need to know Wilde's response first. It's
all right.
You
grab you grab the black envelope, you crack it open, and Wilde's response is as follows. Dearest Topaz, firstly, I wish to be as transparently honest with you as possible, so I hope you believe me when I say that you have nothing to apologize for. Feelings are complicated, but they are one of the wondrous things that make us mortal beings tick. It's why all of the great writers and poets here and beyond the wall write about rage, sorrow, and love. We cannot account for them, or explain how and why we feel the things that we do. And even though I myself have previously warned you against so quickly accepting Sir Gwyn's affections, I would be a liar if I said I do not know what you see in him. The man has many admirable qualities, but people will always talk. As ever, I would advise you to be cautious, if only because I care for you, and I do not wish to see you hurt. These recent rumors surrounding him are deeply troubling, but if you feel you have a better read on him than anyone else, even myself, then who am I to dissuade you? As for Essie, well, he is the reason we are all here. Anyone, myself included, would be charmed by his wiles and beauty. I cannot fault you for losing your heart to him. It seems that your intentions have changed since you first arrived, and perhaps I should begin treating you as a worthy opponent. I jest. You have always been worthy in my eyes. There is nothing ruined between us, Topaz. I hope that you will forgive the presumptions of a foolish man. I should not have questioned you so, especially when you are caught between two exceedingly worthy suitors. I never was much good with subtlety or timing. You are a remarkable person, Topaz, and the fact that you held any affection for me at all is an honor I feel I barely deserve. I do not wish to cause you any distress, my dear. Your kindness and companionship mean the very world to me, and I would not wish to sabotage that, nor make you feel any kind of discomfort around me. Take all the time you need to make your choice, if, indeed, there is a choice to be made. Please know that all I have ever wanted for you is your happiness, even if it is something I cannot provide. You are deserving of all good things. And if dancing is what you desire, then dancing you shall have. Perhaps something more upbeat this time. I shall consider this. I noticed Dame Leonora and her staff bustling about the ballroom this morning. Perhaps you can meet at the observatory. It is quiet and rarely used. If tonight is agreeable, then I will see you there. Yours, always, Ignatius.
Oh, first name.
First name.
Always. Ooh, always.
Mhm.
I think Topaz, while reading this, just has a smile, but there's probably a few tears that come intermixed, specifically as he gets towards the end of it. And just quickly writes a response back of just, I'll see you then, with just like a small little heart.
Alrighty.
Now, the other letter from Diamond.
Alright, letter from Diamond. You crack open this letter, and it is filled with, like, the most feminine, curly Q handwriting with hot pink ink that almost kind of hurts your eyes to, like, look at for too long. But it does read as follows. Darling Topaz, it has been too long since our last correspondence, too long entirely. There is so much to catch up on, but I fear that all of that pales in comparison to the excitement currently ongoing in your life. Lapis tells me that you've run away from home to compete in the Trial of Hearts in Dad's place. I'm so tremendously proud that you found your courage to take the leap into the world outside of Stone's Throw. Books can only get you so far, you know. Take it from me. But I also hear you've gotten a bit more than you bargained for. Lapis is worried about you. She loves you terribly, as do I, and so it is the least I can do to offer advice where I can give it. Everyone says that confidence is key, but it matters little if you don't know what to do with the attention that confidence garners. 3 suitors? My darling, you've become quite the catch since I've been away. I'm surprised you're even entertaining the notion since you were so previously so adamantly against getting married. But when the right person comes along, plans change, don't they? So, between your dazzling star, the rakish mercenary, and the devilishly handsome sky pirate, I'm willing to bet that you're tearing yourself to pieces trying to figure out who is the love of your life. Do you want to know the secret, Topaz? There's no such thing, I'm afraid. And I don't say this to be morose or obtuse. There is love, and it certainly can last for the duration of one's life. And to those people, I wish them 1,000 blessings for their cosmically improbable luck. But people can change, as do hearts. Even stars, I'd wager. And the pressure of finding the one is enough to make one miserable instead of happy. My advice is simply this. Chase your happiness in whatever way that manifests. Things that feel good today will very likely still feel good tomorrow. So try not to worry about the past or your future too much. Only you know your own heart. I apologize if this doesn't seem like much advice at all, but it's true. And once the trials have reached their conclusion, I beg you and Lapis will come and visit me at the capital. Should things not work out as you intend, please know that you are always welcome to stay with me as long as you like. Who knows? I could use an assistant with discerning literary taste. Sending all my love. Diamond.
Topaz went into reading both these letters feeling very concerned as to what it could be about, and is leaving this feeling very assured. I don't have a response right away, but I will
That's all
kind of
right.
tuck that away and just kind of clutch it to her chest for a bit and just be like, okay, and just nod as he prepares himself for the day.
All right, that's everything I have for you, Topaz. So who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Alrighty.
Okay, so I have 3 letters, but I'm only going to go over like the main points of the really big letter to Essie. I got 4 main points. He first goes over the fact that he showed certain people the dagger and who knows about the sword.
Oh, okay.
And he also reveals that due to the fact that he showed Alto the dagger, that means he's going to be, if Alto has any scapegoats, it's likely going to be on Oleander.
Okay.
Point number 2 is that he's talking mostly about he's mostly talking about Cornelius and the fact that he's also missing, and Cornelius is actually probably top number of the suspect list, or at least very suspicious, and the fact that this is now actually a kind of a national conspiracy right now that they're dealing with. And that's point number 2. Point number 3, he actually let's see here. Yes, he asks Essie to look for Queen Isolde's diary.
Ooh.
If there is one. At least if there is one at Hollowlight. And number 4, he talks about how there might be yet another force, as he received the tip to go dig at this dig site way before the trials, because there's a lot of official stuff you gotta go through for archaeology.
Right.
So there's been a third influence on him for months at this point, if there is one. But he feels like there's likely another person involved in this shadowy conspiracy at this point, because why wouldn't there be?
Okay. Cool. So you send that off to Essie.
He's not expecting a letter back right away because it's very big.
Yeah, you do eventually get one back later in the morning, saying something like, thank you very much. I appreciate your being forthcoming. Try to refrain from telling anybody else about any of this information. But I appreciate you letting me know. As far as Isolde's diary goes, I highly doubt it would be within Hollowlight, if anything. If she had one, it would be secreted away at the capital, most likely. But in regarding to the tip-off for the dig site, Essie will see what he can do if there's anything to be found out regarding that point. He will try to investigate that.
Okay, I have my second letter for Gwyn.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's ready. Gwyn, concerning the revelations of yesterday and how shocked you were when you saw the dagger, and how we may be embroiled in what may be the largest conspiracy to ever grace the kingdom, I do think it is a bit appropriate to speak to one another till we meet in the gardens this afternoon. There's also other things I believe we must speak upon, like schemes to unmask Alto or Dora, if necessary, and I would like to ask for your help for something I have planned later in the day. Oleander.
All right. You send that along. Gwen, do you send a response?
Yes, a simple affirmative. Yes,
Cool.
I do believe we're in need of a proper discussion one-on-one.
Excellent. You receive that affirmation, Oleander, and you have one more, I think you said?
Yes, you know what? You've been expecting it. Sister Lockhart, sincerest apologies that it took me this long to notice you, my dear sister. I was told one of my own was here at the trials. Not of the same coven, mind you, but as someone as trustworthy as can be. I am new to the path, so to say I've been stumbling along it has been an understatement. To be here of all places, I'll admit, I have been doing well, but I am still out of my depths. My talent in magic is actually rather small, but my fellow siblings have been suffering from a cursed plague that has rendered our coven only to mere magic tricks and cantrips at the moment. So the mother saw it best to send me. She told me to look for allies, and to think I have found one. Sister, I wish to speak to you in person. I am scared of the people surrounding me, scared of what may happen to me. I have come for the star, but I am lost in the massive sea. I feel my magic doesn't even compare. That is dim even to the pale lights of others, much less the glimmering force of the star itself. May I ask to speak to you tonight in the temple at 2 a.m.? I'm not sure if you also need comfort, Sister Lockhart, but I'm willing to give it. But if not, I just wish to speak upon the events here, and maybe Essie himself. Aradia, a daughter of Diana, and it has the same seal at the bottom of the letter with the giant crescent moon looking like it's about to eat a star, and it's all written in witch's cant in the most feminine handwriting Oleander can muster in silvery ink.
All right. You send off that secret letter.
I walk. Yeah, I make sure it's not a servant sending it. I do it
Cool.
myself and make
Cool.
sure I'm not seen.
That was going to be
Who
my
is that
follow-up
to?
question.
Do we get to know who that's to?
Harriet Lockhart.
Cordelia's
I'm
aunt.
trying to remember who that is. Oh, Cordelia's aunt.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Alrighty. Oleander, you do have a letter waiting for you when you come back from hand delivering your secret witch letter. This one, it's a familiar seal. You've had some correspondence with them over the past several days. This is from Parthenia. And it reads as follows. Mr. Oleander, thank you as ever for your correspondence. I've been considering your latest archaeological find, and as I'm sure you can imagine, it has given me some unease. Combined with the list of names that the dame has presented to you, I'm finding a troubling correlation, and I would like to compare notes. Please meet with me in the greenhouse after breakfast to discuss further. Many thanks, Parthenia Fernside.
He will send a regular affirmative. He will send, I will meet you there. And he'll have a servant send that off. He doesn't feel like, that's important enough to be intercepted.
Yep, cool. Cool. All right. That's everything from you, Oleander. Who would like to go next?
I would like to go next. I have a fairly short letter cooked up to build drama.
Uh-huh.
All right. I was thinking, like for the past week, how to do it, and then I was into the VODs, and then I heard Vesper Oleander send a letter out to his family, and I was like, wait a minute, I have a backstory too. I'm in the fucking military, so I have a letter here. Now, I don't have names for specific fields, but for the guard captain in charge of protecting the current royal family, that would be King, the people there for King Bastion and Queen Calpurnia. I would send a letter. In light of the recent information from the last meeting, Gwyn would send a letter back simply going, Dear standing captain of the guard, I understand that my leave of absence was more so for enjoyment, entertainment, politics, nothing quite so major. But it has seemed in my time, observing the actions and words of these nobles, that some information has come to light. Now, I am not saying the information I'm privy to is not enough to raise cause for alarm, but I have a few strange tasks that I would like to impart remotely, without question. I would like that our armory to be fully checked. If there are any weapons of crystalline origin, or with crystalline runes, or any touches of crystal upon the edge, to be inspected and a total stock taken of. If any have been removed from the armory, I would like knowledge of any of the people who have taken said weaponry out. This includes anything ceremonial as well outside of the armory, things that were once kept in the halls of our castle. Please speak freely with the help. Secondly, I would like you all to be fairly more cautious around King Bastion and Queen Palpernia, and if possible, to search Gwyn would know if this is okay for him to request, but to search for a investigation into Prince Alto and Princess Adora's rooms. But that feels like it might be too strong. Would that be okay for him to request?
I would say, without revealing how, the letter is going to go once you receive it, I would say it's a curious request. You're definitely going to get some follow-up questions about it. But it's not like the most ridiculous thing they've ever heard.
I feel like they would have had inspections done before. I just need to make it clear that Gwyn's not doing it for the or maybe that could be the excuse. Gwyn's doing it for the I don't know. But yes, I fear that I understand Queen Calpurnia's nature regarding her children, and I want to make it clear that I am not requesting so in targeting of them, but I fear that they may have fallen under some more scrutiny here, and I hope to alleviate them of anything that could do them harm. You have my faith, good men. And then just sign to Gwyn.
All right. You send. Yes.
I'm sorry. One more note. If any such weaponry is found, it is to be securely locked away until further request.
Okay.
From Gwyn.
All right. I'm making note of all these points.
Sorry, thank you.
And secured. Okay. You send that off. Since you are sending it to a recipient who is not at Hollowlight, you will receive a response at the next epistolary phase. Anything else from you, Gwyn?
Nope, that's it.
Cool, I got a letter for you. Very familiar, black paper, gold seal, gold ink. You know exactly who this is from. You open it up and it's very short. And it says simply, Sir Gwyn, no pretenses or flowery language this time. I would like to meet privately to discuss the matter of your last letter to me. Please indicate a time and place that would be of the greatest convenience to you. Captain Ignatius Wilde.
This is probably a duel in private, is Gwyn's thinking, just in case. I'm going to have it timed, so... Wait, is it set up like this in the thing where it's after the Oleander and Gwyn talk?
Where do I have it? Scroll down in my notes.
Gwyn and Wilde talk before Oleander and Gwyn talk. Oh, that's fine. Then I will simply request a time for right before when, right, the same location as where Gwyn is speaking to Oleander, but right before then.
All right. Y'all are meeting in the gardens, right? Do I remember that correctly?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So y'all are gonna meet in the gardens. Meet in gardens. Okay. That's it for you, Gwyn.
Yippee! Thank you.
Luella, any letters to send out?
Both I and Luella have had a time recently and do not have the mental acuity for letters, so no.
That's okay. I have a couple for you. There is one that comes on very, plain but very dense paper, implying it's expensive. It has the royal seal stamped on it, and the other is just very almost kind of casual looking. It's folded in on itself to make a little makeshift envelope, and it just very simply has your name written on it, but you recognize that your name is in Essie's handwriting. Which would you prefer to open first?
We'll do Essie's first.
Essie's first. You open it up and it says, "My dear Miss Stalwix, I wanted to extend to you a proverbial olive branch, as it were. The nature of our last private conversation has been weighing on my mind. I don't like appearing dishonest, regardless of how others are speaking of me after the third trial, so let me be frank with you. There is no known way of granting immortality to someone, aside from my consensually and metaphorically granting them my heart. Unless you're willing to carve out my heart and feed it to your children, or bleed poor Damus dry, you won't find any kind of alternative method. And I doubt that even you could be so cruel. And even then, such alternatives take their toll. Though immortal, the body will age unless supplemented with more star essence. Nothing truly lasts forever. Time is relevant in the heavens, and what feels like an eternity to mortals feels like a normal lifetime to us. And immortality isn't exactly guaranteed. Even with the love of a star, one could still die through unnatural means. They're only safe from dying of old age and disease. Nothing in this life is ever certain. I wish I could do more for your loved ones. I really do. Thank you for assisting me in my own investigation, even though you believe you have nothing to gain from it. But I meant what I said before, Miss Stalwix. Luella, you are a fascinating woman, and I certainly see why Dame Leonora speaks so highly of you, and I am very glad to know you. Essie."
Oh, there's so much information to parse.
Take your time, Big Bird.
And you don't have to write a response either. You can just tuck that information away.
I feel like any response I would want to give would want to be in person.
Sure.
So, I know we already have a schedule, but would it be possible to talk to an Essie later?
Absolutely. I can add that to the agenda. Talk to Essie. Okay. Your next letter, if you are ready for it.
Yep.
Cool. You open it up, and it says, "Miss Stalwix, I'm not in the habit of apologizing when I feel that I've done no wrong except in the eyes of polite society, but I feel as though I must. I truly had no intentions to besmirch your reputation by visiting you, and even though I knew how it might look to be received into your private quarters, I entered none the less. This is particularly shameful behavior, considering I asked a favor of you and caused you nothing but trouble for it. I do apologize for the trouble, and I thank you for keeping your word and speaking to Adora nonetheless. She's not pleased with me, or you, for that matter, but I like to think that maybe now she doesn't feel quite so alone. If I may be so bold, I would like to speak to you again regarding another matter that has been on my mind. I would say that your loyalty to your profession and the crown gives you credit, and that's why I trust you, etc., etc., but really, I think that I just simply liked your company. You spoke the truth to me last night, albeit under the influence of Dame Leonora's best vintage, and I would like to do the impossible and speak a bit of honesty myself. Nothing nefarious, at least on my end. Meet me after dinner in the den should you be willing to risk seeing me again. Prince Alto."
She will be meeting Alto.
Excellent. Excellent. And with that, we conclude the epistolary phase. We will now begin with the morning's activities. I believe, starting off, Oleander, you wish to speak to Damus before breakfast.
Yes, Oleander will go very nicely dressed, but nothing more than casual. And he'll have his hair loose since he still doesn't have his braids refixed. And he'll go and knock on Damus's door.
You hear a little bit of scrambling on the other side of the door, a bit of a thunk, and then some very quiet expletives on the other side of the door. Before Damus finally opens, it looks like he is quite literally just rolled out of bed. Hair is messed up. He's haphazardly thrown his dressing gown over his shoulders, and just, "Oh, Oleander, good morning. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting you. Was I? Did we arrange to meet? I don't recall."
No, I just decided to visit before breakfast, and Oleander is very happily smiling as he looks at this, because he just was hearing all of that and giggling to himself a little.
Yeah, you definitely heard him quite literally fall out of bed, so. But yeah, he will open the door a little wider and motion for you to come in. Please, is there something you wanted to speak about?
I kind of wanted to apologize for yesterday, and that I wasn't expecting to see you there, though. I wasn't really expecting... I don't know what I was expecting with the meeting yesterday, and Oleander kind of finds a place to sit down, and he looks up at Damus. I just feel like I should apologize that I don't want to say you needed defending, but I feel like I could have done more yesterday.
Apologize. Oleander, I don't think you have anything to apologize for. To be honest, I kind of dreaded speaking to you again because I was afraid that after, well, everything I said, I was worried that you wouldn't wish to speak to me anymore.
I'm not so cold-hearted as to let something like all of those revelations yesterday to get between us, and not to mention I'd like to think I'm intelligent, though I feel like there are some things that have proven against that, and he chuckles to himself as he wags his tail. But as an intelligent person, I knew that there was other things happening, and I've been very prone to prying. It's been part of both my jobs as a rogue and as an archaeologist. And as an archaeologist, I've had to dig into other people's past for my funding sometimes. I'm trying to be normal in terms. And I'm intelligent to know that there were other things going on, but I did not want to dig. You hiding those things is normal. And Oleander smiles.
That's very good of you to say so, and I really did appreciate that you never once pushed me to say something that I didn't want to say. I was told not to talk about it and that I shouldn't talk about it, and it's difficult to talk about it. Especially since coming here and meeting new people. Of course, not everyone is nice. Some people are actually kind of mean. But I've met some very nice people. And even though I didn't want to do anything to hurt anyone before coming here, I certainly don't want to now. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do going forward.
That's okay. We're all figuring out our place in this, where Essie has placed us. But there was something I want to give you, and Oleander reaches into his bag and he pulls out the other, not the crystal dagger, but the poison dagger. Considering that I'm not sure I can only say this in a funny way. I don't know how you work as a star, but I know that you should have more than my non-poison dagger. I think you should also have the whole set.
I couldn't possibly take that from you, Oleander. What does that leave you with?
I still have my hooves. They're about as good as a dagger. I just want you. We're in a dangerous position. We have 2 stars here, and I'm not sure what's going to happen next, and I'm more worried about you than myself. And Oleander will, take Damus's hand into his own and place the dagger within it.
He very hesitantly wraps his fingers around the handle, just kind of looking at it, and then slowly lifting his eyes to, look back at you. Thank you. I suppose it would be rude to refuse a gift, especially since it means so much to you. Although, I'm not quite sure how I feel about being referred to as a star myself. I'm not. Definitely not. I think things would be very different if that were true. But...
True, I'm sorry.
No.
You do.
It's okay. Really, I'm glad I'm not a star. If that were the case, I don't think I would be here or have the opportunity to have met you.
Oleander kind of goes quiet, and he slowly, like, wraps his arms around Demas and brings him into his chest.
He leans into you, and it's just quiet for a moment. I think, Mr. Oleander, I think that, I think you are too kind.
I think I care a lot. Got it from Dad.
But even after everything that I am, everything I'm supposed to be, you don't treat me any different. I think you would be right to hate me.
Well, I don't. and he kind of like wiggles his ears.
Thank you. I was really scared. and a part of me still is. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
Oh, would breakfast make you a little less scared?
It might help. Gives you a really sheepish, kind of crooked smile.
I lead him to breakfast and we can end it there.
Alright, y'all head off to breakfast. Topaz.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish to speak to Essie?
Yes, I do.
Where did we say we were gonna have that happen?
We didn't particularly, but
All right, I was
planning-
like, I don't have it in my
Topaz's
notes,
room.
but I feel like we talked about it, but I
Yeah.
don't remember.
We may have a while ago, but I was planning on just his room.
Cool. All right, so you stop by Essie's room.
Just without much hesitation, going to knock on his door.
Not treading a little path in the carpet this time.
No, not this time.
Boldly knocking on the door. Let's go. Yeah, Essie will open the door. Fully dressed, even though it's still fairly early in the morning. Looking, well put together and radiant as always. And gives a big smile when he sees that it's you. Just, Mick Stoneheart, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, I was just hoping to... Well, there's a few things on my mind, and I just wanted to check if you had a moment to talk them through.
I always have a moment for you, Mick Stoneheart.
Oh.
Is this a private conversation, or shall we take a turn?
I think it's a bit more of a private conversation, given there's a few things I would prefer to not have the public
course.
grab onto.
Of course. Please, come inside.
And Topaz will just kind of nod. He's wearing basically a gray coat with a standard vest and shirt combo. So much more prepared to go outside than usual. But
I will say, just for funsies, as you walk into Essie's room. The last time you were here, it was, immaculate. Currently, it kind of looks like his wardrobe exploded. And even though he himself is very well put together, it becomes increasingly obvious that he has torn apart his closet trying to figure out what he wanted to wear that morning. And he has yet to put it back.
Okay. I know you said that you didn't want to wear anything of mine, but if you're looking for an outfit, I could help.
That is very kind of you, Topaz. Apologies for the mess. I have a bit of a system when it comes to deciding what to wear. After all, silks and frocks are practically my battle armor while I am here, so one must choose one's outfit with exceeding care.
I can help you put that back if I can help. I know that some people have their systems.
No, it's quite all right. The staff are quite used to it by now. Please, have a seat.
Of course. And he'll just go and quickly sit down in one of the chairs by the fireplace and just say, there was a few things, as mentioned, that I wanted to kind of check in on. First of all, just a quick check in on yourself. The revelations yesterday, I'm sure, were a bit, well, a lot. And just wanted to be a arm or shoulder to lean on if you needed it.
That is very, very sweet of you to say so, Topaz. I really should be asking that of you, considering how, you'll pardon my saying so, emotional you got during our last conversation. I really should be asking you how you are faring, but to answer your question, it's difficult to put into words, how exactly I feel. I'm eager to get to the truth. I'm eager to see justice doled out. And I'm frustrated that I don't have answers, just pieces that have yet to fall into place.
Well, pardon the analogy, but it sounds sort of like making a dress or making a piece of clothing in general. You need pieces to make the whole. And even though it's not there yet, you can start to see the finish line once you get enough pieces together.
So we must baste the pieces together before we can have the whole of the garment that is the truth.
Exactly. I'm surprised you know about basting and all that.
Well, I've sat through many tailoring appointments since my time here.
Huh? That would make sense. That's fair enough. Perhaps I was wrong to assume that you wouldn't. Thank you. As for myself, yeah, it was a bit emotional yesterday, and it didn't stop with our conversation. But, I think all things considered, I feel I've been kind of, at least, reset to a better state this morning. I had a few letters that came in that really reassured me. And I mean, I didn't even hesitate to knock on your door. That's a step up, I'd say.
It most certainly is. I am I'm very glad to see that with the dawning of a new day, you feel reassured.
Mm. If you don't mind, there's one thing that you said, well, I suppose in a letter yesterday, that I did want to ask a bit about.
Of course.
It comes back to the matter of Sir Gwyn. You said that I should not become one of his conquests.
I did.
And I must admit that this morning you find me more conflicted about the man than I could have imagined I would as of this time yesterday.
Wow. I imagine... Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to know a bit more about those words that you said so that I can make the best decision I can about him.
What are people talking about right now in regards to Sir Gwyn? Surely you must have heard some gossip.
Indeed, I've heard a lot. Illegitimate child, rigging the trial, all that stuff. And I found myself in a conversation with Skolm of all people yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure he had very enlightening things to say about Sir Gwyn.
Oh, yes. It was most certainly colorful. If I could quote the man, say, "You're still under his spell. You'll never be an equal to him. You don't know the real him. Someone like you will only hold him back, and he knows it, and that I'm just a piece of amusement for him." So yeah, the works, I'd say,
Dear
in terms of
me.
negative thoughts.
Quite the crass collection of observances.
Yeah. But I guess to get to the heart of it, I still feel like the Gwyn that I see is true, but given your comment about conquest, I do worry that in a way that he might treat me or view me as like something to be put on a pedestal, an object of affection to be viewed but not touched, not truly cared for.
And you long to be touched, do you, Topaz?
Well, yes, of course. Everyone wishes to be touched. Everyone wishes to be cared for, to be held, to feel close.
Topaz, you are a romantic through and through. And that is why I express concern. Not everyone has such a idyllic view of romance and companionship. I do believe that Sir Gwyn was honest in his words to you, at least the ones that I've heard. I don't know what he says to you in private. But I think that you too need to avoid putting that man on a pedestal. He will not and cannot ever be a knight in shining armor. That armor is worn and used and dented. It is fought for a lot of things. Probably not all good. We can't ever really know. So, do not become conquered by the idea of Sir Gwyn. If you are to love him, it must be for him.
I see. And I appreciate your guidance immensely.
Of course.
If I do mean what I said to you yesterday, that I would choose you above all else. And I wish to reaffirm that. With everything put together, you've truly helped me come into my own a bit, and I wouldn't trade that for nothing. So. Yeah.
He's got this very relaxed, very contented smile on his face. And he just approaches your chair and gives you a little kiss on the side of your temple. Thank you, Topaz, for everything. I've asked a lot of you since you've come into my confidence, and you've risen to each challenge. I really do. I do value your company very highly.
She's just gonna blush before looking up and trying to get a tease in of her own for the first time. Say, enough to spend forever together?
Hmm.
You don't have to answer that. I don't mean to walk it back. I just... It just seemed to be... Well, it sounded good in my head. I just...
My, trying to jump ahead of all others, are we? I still reserve the right to hold one last trial.
No, of course. Even in here, my mind just went, I was saying, oh, of course I'd do it for you, but oh God, what am I saying? I'm trying to speak before I think a bit more, because I find that it comes a bit more earnest and, well, honestly, and all that with you.
I don't think you've ever needed anybody's help to be honest and true to yourself, Topaz.
Of course. I just... I always overthink, and I'm not gonna stop overthinking, but I think in the matters of love, well, my sister Diamond said to just follow and listen to your heart. So I'm trying to just let it speak for once.
And that heart has concerns about Gwyn?
It does. I hold a fondness for him, but I can't help but feel like there's still so many puzzle pieces missing. And if he can't trust me with them, well, there needs to be trust.
Indeed. Indeed.
I've heard plenty of the man from others, but in regards to that dark side, none from him.
Well, I suppose on top of everything else that we are trying to unravel, so too you must get to the heart, if you'll pardon the expression, of the mystery that is Sir Gwyn.
Do you think you've got a handle on him?
I think, like you, I have ideas. How he chooses to present himself to me.
Is it different than the person he presented in front of us?
I wouldn't say different, perhaps, but I have experienced some of the well, let's just say that I have had a sampling of the taste of his ambitions.
Of course, I did not mean to wish to pry into your to pry into your dealings with others.
Just gives you a big smile.
I mean, I'm sure there's been a lot going on that I'm not privy to, and I understand. It's your personal life, and it's your forever. If you do choose me, I want you to be sure. Because, well, I don't know, I think it'd be pretty nice.
Forever is an awfully long time, Topaz.
It is.
I will be choosing my companion very carefully.
Of course. And I'll be okay. I want you to know that. I'll be okay. Whichever way it goes.
But I'm glad to hear you say so. Truly.
I think I come off as a lot, so... But, no, I'll be okay. I'll always treasure this time.
As will I. As will I.
And Topaz is gonna try and go in for a kiss at this moment.
Essie will allow it. Give you a little smooch. Is there anything else that you wish to speak to Essie about?
I think that's all. So, Topaz will just kind of just nod and just say, I imagine you've got a lot on your plate as always, so I think I've kept you long enough.
Though I'm hardly complaining.
Oh, yeah?
It's always nice to spend time with you, Topaz.
It's always nice to spend time with you too, Essie.
But yes, you two will go on your separate ways, and, the morning carries on. Next, Gwen.
Yeah.
You have your appointment with Captain Wilde. And I believe you said you're meeting in the gardens.
In the garden.
Cool. As you head down there, he is already there. He's kind of idling around like the rose bushes and just kind of pacing as he is waiting for your arrival. But he'll take notice of you and wave you over. He seems amicable enough.
He's not got a hand on a blade or anything, right?
Nope. Not currently.
Okay. Damn, this is not going to be spicy. All right. Okay. Greetings, Captain Wilde.
Sir Gwyn. Thank you for receiving my invitation.
Naturally, I understand we have, given our alliance, many shared interests, and my last letter to you was one dripping with twisted emotions in our shared interest.
My. Twisted emotions? Does Sir Gwyn admit to
Yes.
being conflicted?
I like to imagine he just outright interrupts him where he says, does Sir Gwyn admit? And he just says yes.
I see.
That letter I sent to you was one tinged with jealousy, but also
Jealousy?
concern.
I don't follow. What do you have to be jealous about, sir?
I'm not too sure. It sounds like... I'm not too sure. The heart works in strange ways, and I have no idea of Topaz's true feelings on you, but I know they're one of love and caring, of kindness and sweet memories.
Sir Gwyn, am I to understand that this is to be a honest discussion?
Yes, and I have some concerns I'd like to share with you, but you invited me here. By all means, feel free to speak plainly.
Very good. And he'll sort of direct you to, like, take a turn with him. He's not gonna want to remain stationary for too long because he doesn't want people potentially overhearing what y'all are about to talk about. And so as he's walking, he just says to you, I have a shared history with the Stonehearts. This much you know. I've been close to Mick Stoneheart for several years now. We are close. We are friends. And I care very deeply about them. So, I'm sure amidst everything that is circulating right now about yourself, Sir Gwyn, you can understand my concern about your intentions towards Topaz Stoneheart.
My intentions, you ask that I lay them bare.
If we are having a honest discussion, yes.
I want them. Truly. I don't view them as another pawn in some scheme. I don't aim to rig the trials with their affections. I don't plan to misuse their newfound bond with the star. I want them. For the first time in my life, I have been able to call someone an equal without it hurting me in return.
as a object of attraction, as a companion, do you see a future with Mick Stoneheart?
I have a deep-seated fear and twisted with hope that should these trials not pass in a way where I may accomplish my dreams, that Topaz will join me as I dig through the mud and fall to the earth, not falling with me, but to accept me at my worst as I push for my dream. The same way I would for him.
Then what of the star? When we first spoke, you were adamant that nothing would stand in your way of assured victory in claiming the heart of the star.
Well, you asked me to bear with my intentions and in turn my fears of failing this trial, but I too want the star. Not for immortality, I've made that quite clear. And earning his love true would grant me great power amidst the kingdom, but even without all that, I want him as well. You may mock me, call it debauchery, whatever you wish based on all of the rumors that circulate around me, but I want the two of them. And I believe that I'm well aware of the shared emotions they have with each other as well. It's a strange scenario even for our kingdom, even for Fae kind, but yeah. Laid bare, that is my intention.
And in this idyllic scenario, let us say that you are chosen as the champion of these trials, and you claim the heart of the star and that of Mick Stoneheart. Can you guarantee? Can you promise that she doesn't get hurt?
Even at the point of sullying his pride? I'm not proud of what we did in the second trial. Go ahead, sorry.
In any way. I have a vested interest, you might say, in Mick Stoneheart's well-being. And even though I have come to appreciate you as a fighter, a commander, a friend, perhaps, if I'm so bold to say.
We are friends.
Well, then, as a friend, let me say this very simply, in the manner of which men like us can understand. If you hurt Mick Stoneheart, I will never forgive you.
You won't be quite so alone in that little growing organization. I've already had threats to send the royal assassin after me, and I
will have to do my utmost to make sure I am first in line for your head, then.
By all means, you and Skalm can chase me as much as you wish, but I wanted to share my own concerns, because as I state, stated, that letter I sent you was one of sympathy as well. Gwyn turns around to reminisce as he goes on and says, when I dismissed my mercenaries, my men, women, soldiers, friends, when I told them, when I looked down at the growing bodies beneath my feet and at those left around me and gave them that kindness, that acknowledgement that their dreams were just as worth pursuing as my own, that meant saying goodbye. And every passing day, no matter how much I hoped for them to return, for Skalm to return, as well as the others, never came. I always hated that. I hated goodbye. Hated everything that I had done to build up, only to lead to that goodbye. I'm strong enough to acknowledge that now. Wilde, when this is all over, will you so easily be able to see Topaz again? I won't stop you, but in the pursuit of her dreams, it's unlikely she'll be so available. All I ask is, when you separate, speak plainly. Let your emotions run wild. Be honest. And don't be like Skalm.
Whatever she chooses, I could never hold it against her. I have made that much perfectly clear to them already. We have the luxury of friendship that many young lovers do not. And I value and trust that friendship, that companionship, just as much as if it, well, if things were otherwise. I know I'm a pirate, Sir Gwyn, a ruthless one at that. But I would never turn that ire against her.
Skalm and I weren't the only relationship to break apart as part of our band dissolving, but I see your point. Doesn't have to be as toxic as ours is, but I trust that you two will always remain connected in some way for them.
Certainly hope so.
I think the two of them will sit in... Unless there's something else I want to talk about, but I think the two of them would sit in silence at this point and just breathe in the air.
Companionable silence.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yes, the day goes on, you sit in silence, you reflect on the words spoken to each other, and our camera pans. Oleander, you have a meeting with Parthenia in the greenhouse.
Yes.
Yes, you do. You arrive at this location. It's where the two of you met last time. And she is sitting comfortably in like one of the wicker chairs that's set up in the greenhouse, reading just like a little informational pamphlet, probably some academic reading that she brought with her to the estate, which she looks up from her reading, notices that it's you, and respectfully closes her little book and rises out of her chair and nods in greeting. Thank you.
I nod back, and I hold up a thermos of coffee.
Ah, you're too kind, Mr. Oleander. Thank you.
And I think it's the strongest blend they have here.
Much needed. Thank you. She'll take the thermos from your hand and uncap it, pour it into a cup, take a sip, give a deep exhale, and sit back down in her chair. Thank you again for agreeing to meet with me. I wanted to talk about our recent correspondences, our academic notes and inquiries, as it were. And she kind of looks over her shoulders a little bit, because even though this is a private room, it's not very large, it's still, it's a greenhouse, there's glass walls, so she's kind of double checking just to make sure no one is, like, immediately in the nearby vicinity outside, to sort of witness this conversation. But turns back to you. I was thinking about what you revealed, the artifact you came across, and the names that you procured from Dame Leonora regarding the last trials. I do find it very curious, unfortunately so, that there exists a crystal dagger with the royal seal on it, aged around the same time as the reign of Cornelius, wherein his younger brother died to assassination by a witch's coven. I'm speculating, of course. And
Of course.
I pray that you are intelligent enough that the things that we are about to discuss do not leave this room, because we could very well be tried for treason for it.
I understand. We are in a very dangerous predicament, as it were.
Good. Good. Well, we know that Prince Cyrus was assassinated by the notable coven, the Children of the Dawn. So it is said. But in referencing my studies, my facts about this era of history, the intentions of the coven were never very clear. Perhaps they meant to assassinate Cornelius instead of Cyrus, and it was an unfortunate accident. Perhaps they wanted to antagonize Cornelius, perhaps retribution for their fallen siblings. But even though they were to blame for Cyrus's death, I could find no reason explicitly given, no message, no manifesto left behind to claim the deed. The Children of the Dawn, they were the largest witches' coven in the history of Wishbourne. They had a sizable influence. Upon reflection, I do find it strange that they would jeopardize their standing by starting a war with the crown.
Not to mention, why, if you have access to Cyrus, you had access to Isolde or anyone of the court.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly. Why would Cyrus be the intended target? Or even if it was an accident, why not continue the foul deed and kill the king as well?
Yes, if everyone was just dead, it would have thrown Wishbone into chaos. It would have been the perfect time for witches to usurp into power. There's no rhyme or reason to just kill Cyrus and leave it at that, so...
Exactly, and his assassination is what led to Cornelius's warpath against witches in the first place.
I know it has been a low-lying conspiracy, but has there been any proof that Cyrus was a part of Children of the Dawn himself?
People talk, of course. I mean, just as some historians and people speculate that King Marius was a witch himself, so too, I imagine, do people say the same thing as about Cyrus. Perhaps he was one of their own and fell afoul of their good graces, so they took action against him. But even still, if that were the case, are
you thinking it was... I'd hate to put this out, but these thoughts are already dangerous. So, do we think it was someone else who killed him? Do we think it was maybe King Cornelius himself?
What's that? She shifts very uncomfortably in her chair. I hesitate to say such words aloud, but upon further reflection, I do not think, at least, that the Children of the Dawn were responsible. I think they were a very convenient scapegoat for King Cornelius to wage his war on witches.
That is quite true. It is a very convenient scapegoat that the largest coven happened to be behind Cyrus's death.
Indeed.
And if I remember correctly from the records, I don't think the Children of Dawn ever took responsibility. Not that they would, but...
It was decreed by the crown that they were responsible. Without a message or a manifesto given, it really was just the king's word. And Prince Cyrus was quite beloved, as I understand it. Wishborn was in outrage at his untimely death. It must have been easier to accept that some evil witches had killed him.
Do I know what King Cornelius's reputation was before he started the witch killings?
You know what? Give me a history check with advantage.
Okay, where is my skipped her, damn it. Come on. And with advantage, you say?
26. Yeah,
Okay.
Cornelius always had a very low tolerance for witchcraft. But it was kind of so long as they stayed in line, most of his persecution of witches went, kind of tucked under the rug, so to speak. However, upon the death of Cyrus, it became a full-blown war against them.
Okay. And what did the people think of him? Before?
His reputation is actually quite in good standing. The people liked Cornelius. They thought that he sort of had, a strong sense of justice. He was all about defending the common people. All around, even though he was an incredible, hard ass of a ruler, he had a positive reputation.
Okay. You can see Oleander is sitting there thinking. And the king had a very positive reputation even before
Yes.
he won the trials. And Oleander is just sitting there thinking, oh god, what have we gotten ourselves into in general? There is a childlike glee in discovering mysteries for him, but he is realizing that this is running very deep.
I have to assume there's more to the story about Prince Cyrus than the crown wants us to believe. If he was assassinated, I fear he was very likely silenced.
I wonder what he would be silenced for.
Who can say? But royals don't just turn up violently killed for nothing.
Not to continue asking questions, DM, but how was Cyrus killed? Was it Dateline would have been really brutal?
Yeah, I'm not even going to make you roll a history check for it because you've been looking into this recently. Cyrus's manner of death was quite violent. Dude was found in the castle horrifically stabbed multiple times.
And he died in the castle, too. Not saying that's impossible to get into the castle, but that would have been quite the effort, even for best of witches.
True. Very, very true. Someone would have to know the ins and outs of the security. Guard patrols, walls, portcullises, locked doors, gates. And even then, they would have to know Cyrus's routines, where he would be. It's a very large castle. He could have been in any room.
And there's only so much a greater invisibility spell will do for all of that.
Indeed.
I'm afraid what we've gotten ourselves into.
As am I. And she looks kind of blanched the longer this conversation is going. She is starting to realize that she is treading some very dangerous waters here.
You're allowed to back out anytime you wish.
At this point, I fear I already know too much. Even though I don't have any answers. I think I will have to see this through. And she straightens up a little bit and fixes the glasses that have kind of slipped down her nose. If anything, for academic integrity.
Sometimes history needs to be dragged, kicking and screaming out of the shadows it's hidden in, doesn't it?
I never thought I'd find myself agreeing with you so thoroughly, but yes. Yes.
He pours her more coffee. I think you're going to need this.
She nods her thanks silently. Do you... Do you have any connections in the capital?
I assume I can get connections in the capital, right?
Yeah, I mean, even just, like, your mentors, like Mezzethine and Gads, like, they're in the capital, they know what's what. You know some people.
And it's like, there's somebody in the Rogues Guild in the capital at all times probably getting information. Yeah, I probably know people. I have connections outside of Mezzethine, yes.
I don't know how easy it would be to reach out to them, let alone gain their assistance, but the more people we rope into this, the more dangerous it becomes. But someone there must know something. Nothing like this can stay hidden forever.
I do have something I want to admit. I did not go to that excavation site on my own. You know how we work. We receive tips. We do research. I received a tip, and I was at that, and I've been preparing for that dig site far before the trials, and I received that. I dug up the artifact weeks before I even came here. What if there's another influence here that wants us to find out the truth?
That would be a very comforting notion, I think.
Unfortunately, that force has put us into danger.
True enough. But if someone knows something and is guiding you, I suppose, on the path to discovery, I'm sure that they must have a reason that they can't do it themselves.
Oleander nods. Maybe... I'm not sure if we can find them, but... they'd be a help right now, I believe. If it was... someone who... And he kind of doesn't finish that thought, because, like, he doesn't want to go into the bad possibilities of, like, someone's putting him up to this.
Well, much to think about.
As always, much to think about.
I would, I'm not sure if I should suggest that you reach out to someone in the capital. As I said, it would make things dangerous for them and ourselves. But if you think it wise, if you think there is a manner of which you can discreetly communicate your inquiries, I think we need more information about the manner of Cyrus's death. Perhaps, I don't know if the Dame Leonora would have any such information here on hand. Her library is a privately curated collection, after all.
It'd be hard to find something like Cyrus's diary.
Yes. A diary would be a very remarkable find. Well, I trust your judgment. And she'll rise from her chair and kind of cock her head with a sly expression. But remember, both our lives are in your hands.
I will do my best. And only my best. For the both of us.
Good. Good. We'll speak soon, then.
We'll speak soon.
And she will, leave the greenhouse.
After she's left the greenhouse, Oleander is going to look around, make sure no one's around, and hold up his sending stone and whispers into it. Hate to bother you, but I need all information we can get on Prince Cyrus's death.
Okay. You receive a very prompt response, and it just says, affirmative.
And I will leave the greenhouse, and I presume I'm going to the gardens.
Very good, very good. At this point, we are starting to enter midday. Lunch is in full swing. People are in the dining hall. They're eating, talking, socializing, yada yada. Are there any quick little side conversations that anyone wants to have before I do a thing?
Oh god, he's gonna do a thing!
I'm gonna do a thing!
Please do your thing.
Alright, I will do my thing. So, as everyone is eating, dining, mingling, you will hear the slight, repeated, clinking of a glass, Dame Leonora trying to get everyone's attention, and she stands at the front of the room, Essie at her side, and once she notices that she is gained everyone's attention. It falls quiet. She gives a big smile and a nod of her head. Just, well, my dear guests and competitors of the trials, I trust you are all having a splendid day. I'm pleased to announce that tomorrow night I will be hosting a masquerade in Hollowlight's grand ballroom. Masks are, of course, required, and I have a selection to choose from currently on display in the ballroom. Please, feel free to stop by at your convenience and select a mask of your choosing. They are first come, first serve, though, so take care not to dawdle too long. And Essie will chime in and just, also, please, take care not to don your mask until the appointed hour. We wouldn't want to spoil the fun of guessing who is who, after all. And there is a bit of a buzz throughout the room. People are talking about it. Nobles love a good masquerade, after all. They very much, enjoy the thrill of dancing and drinking with, the added anonymity of the evening. So people seem pretty pleased with this turn of events. And Dame Leonora will, give a polite bow. The announcement concluded. We'll go back to mingling with others throughout the room. People seem to be a bit more receptive to her now that she's sort of made this announcement to people. And to Essie as well, even though there's some nasty rumors circulating about the both of them. So yes, if at any point for the rest of the session, if you'd like to head to the ballroom to select your mask, please let me know and do so.
Topaz has basically been soft waiting for this.
My time has come.
Like, knowing that there has to be a masquerade event. She's read so many books where there's always a masquerade event. She's like, fuck yes, finally. So you see them just, like, immediately head over to the ballroom to take a look at the masks.
All right, you are immediately heading over. Before I jump into that, is anyone else doing anything? Oleander is too? Okay.
Go look at the mask.
All right, everyone wants to go look at the masks. Yeah. Gwyn, are you coming too?
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So everyone kind of files. You and many other people are sort of bustling over to the ballroom. People want to get, first dibs on the collection of masks. And the thing is the staff are permitting people to enter one by one. So there is definitely a queue forming. And this is to prevent people from seeing what masks other people are taking. So everyone is going to go in one by one and select their mask. So, Topaz, you mentioned it first. I'm going to let you go first. As you walk through the ballroom, there's a number of tables set up with like mannequin heads, like marble mannequin heads, to display the various different masks. And there is a wide variety. Think like Venetian Carnival. There's all sorts of things. There's masks of celestial bodies, there's animals, there's faces, just plants, all kinds of stuff. So what kind of mask does Topaz gravitate towards?
I imagine they're just kind of looking around through all the different ones and just the conversations and letters of the day on their mind. Their eyes immediately gravitate towards a rabbit mask.
Mm-hmm.
A classic kind of mask for a masquerade.
Yeah.
And their mind goes to a book series written by Diamond that they are very fond of. Just think, that's perfect. And we'll just quickly grab the mask and basically come out like as quickly as possible, putting on the air of they knew exactly what they wanted.
All right, you have your rabbit mask. Next, Oleander. You go in, you see the same array, and what kind of mask does Oleander pick?
Oleander kind of like is like looking through everything, and and he notices two moon masks actually right next to each other. One being this creepy, made of bone, has like this very, very horrific eye in it and it's a crescent moon. This very horrific looking crescent moon that looks to be made out of like gold material. And to the right of this one is this very beautiful, also crescent moon, but it's kind of like made out of this beautiful bluish white metal. And where it has like the eye, it's more of like just this kind of like completely black tint. And the entire moon has like this nice little snow, this dappling of snow on top. And he's torn between these two masks, wondering which one to get before taking the snow dappled crescent moon mask and holding it and like stuffing it away into his bag.
All right, you have your mask. You exit the room. The queue continues. Luella. You walk in, you see the assortment of masks. What sort of mask does Luella choose?
Luella, I think at this moment goes for a bit of, to her, some morose humor, and chooses one that looks reminiscent of a plague doctor's mask. For the fact that she is feeling grim and also a little bit of humor as, yes, a bird-themed mask for a bird.
Excellent, excellent. You choose your mask, you tuck it away, you exit the room, and the queue continues. Gwyn. You see, you are presented with a wide assortment of masks. What do you gravitate towards?
I think Gwyn naturally, as with everyone else, everyone else gravitates towards like the nicer looking masks that are on display, like Jester's, classic bunny ones, stuff like that. And then he thinks back to his conversation with Wilde and thinks about Topaz and all the other people that have grown to mean so much more in his life, and he decides to go for something repulsive. He picks a mask further in the back with the expression of like anger and like a twisted expression, grimacing of like anger and fear of like war, and dotted and covered in paint as if it was bloodied. And he takes it.
Very cool, very cool. Yes, you choose your mask. You tuck it away, you exit the room. The queue continues. People are starting to get a little antsy now as the queue continues, and they are seeing more and more people and more masks vacating the room, which means there's fewer to choose from. So people are starting to get a little antsy, but you all have your masks. And just for clarity purposes, this won't come into effect until the actual masquerade itself, which will take place, next session. But since you have the mask on your person, how this works is when you wear this mask, it will create an illusion, effectively a disguise self spell that will mask the wearer's appearance and their voice until someone can correctly and verbally guess your identity, upon which the disguise self spell will be dispelled. So that is how your masks will work. So going into, next session, I will ask that you come up with your disguised persona, as well as, what you actually look like once the spell is removed. So, everyone has their masks, and I think at this point, I'm going to squeeze in, that talk that Luella wanted to have with Essie. if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Luella, where would you like to catch, Essie?
Didn't Essie say where to meet? Question mark?
Uh,
I forget. My brain is barely working.
Let me, you know what? I feel like I probably did.
If I recall correctly, Luella expressed wanting to meet
No,
Essie
yeah, it
after
was-
Essie sent that letter about
Yes,
how your
that
kids will
is
never be
correct.
truly immortal and how your future is going to be awful and death is coming for us all. Yeah.
Your kids are gonna die, you're gonna suffer, frick you, deal with it.
Yes, that is what happened. So he basically wrote that letter to you. You said you wanted to have a conversation with him later. So, you can kind of snag him wherever you would like. He is probably going to be subtly sneaking away as people are, pushing and shoving towards the ballroom to try to get their mask. He will subtly, step away from the crowds and go about, his business.
I feel like sneaking up on him, like, immediately after would be funny.
Absolutely. All right, so
I think Luella is going to full-on sneak up on him.
all right, so Essie is just meandering down a hallway, and suddenly, do you just like approach behind him or in front of him? What is the manner of your surprise?
Approach from behind, stealthily, and tap on the shoulder.
He will jump at that. Just turns around, takes a moment to collect himself before showing his face. That practiced polite smile on his features. Why, Miss Stalwix, you gave me quite a fright. Is there something I could do for you?
Pardon the intrusion and the moment of vengeance.
Vengeance?
I simply want... of a sort. A small trick. I wanted to say... I received your letter. I appreciate the information that you have imparted, and... I feel as though that with how that letter was worded, it seemed as if you had taken some of the blame for this problem upon yourself.
Blame? I mean...
What it seemed.
I don't regret anything that I have done or said. I do, however, regret that your understanding, and I don't just mean you personally, I mean people in general, your understanding of what I can offer is a little skewed.
Sorry, cohesive thought is very difficult at the moment.
All good, all good. But he'll kind of shift a little closer, just a growing air of familiarity, as he knows that, it's you he's talking to and not, anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you as well for meeting me in the observatory. I know that it was a lot of information to digest, and certainly not information that you asked for. But I do trust you with it. I do think that you are one of the people that can certainly help me. Even though I regret that I cannot do much to help you.
Such is the way of things in some cases. This sort of task is within my skill set, and even if I cannot get what I wanted, there is plenty that I could ask for in repayment as favor.
Ah. The infamous Fae favors. I have heard a thing or two about your business practices.
And what thing or two have you heard?
Only that people are willing to give quite a lot for something they don't fully understand the terms and conditions of. I suppose that's not unlike what's happening here. You and I are similar in that regard, I think.
Striving to get the things you want tends to lead to unexpected consequences.
True enough. But perhaps it can lead to pleasant alternatives. Even if you don't walk away with what you had hoped for, Miss Stalwix, I do hope that you find some value in our time together.
I would say that I already do.
Gives you a big smile. I'm glad to hear it. For a while, I thought I would never get back into your good graces.
I would not say that you ever left them.
His smile widens. Well, do with my information that I imparted on you in my last letter as you will. It sounds morbid, perhaps, but I think there is something good to be gained from a greater understanding.
Always. I shall use that information, or at least hold it.
Very good. Have you chosen your mask?
Indeed, I have. Will you be joining us for the masquerade?
Of course. Can't let you all have all the fun. I look forward to, hopefully, discovering you amongst the crowd.
Perhaps. I'm curious as to how long it will take you to be found out if you are to be playing by the same rules as we.
My dear Miss Stalwix, when have the rules ever applied to me? And he'll give a big flashy smile, give a deep curtsy, and continue strutting his way down the hall.
And one more thing.
Hmm?
I hear that there are those seeking to steal your heart by alternative means. Perhaps watching your back would be a smart move.
He kind of pauses at that. And for a moment, you kind of see his usually calm and playful demeanor crack as he bristles and kind of stiffens uncomfortably. Just clears his throat. Indeed. Indeed. You're quite right. Thank you for your concern.
Have a wonderful day.
You as well. If you'll excuse me. And with that, you go your separate ways.
Got one back on Essie, yes.
You most certainly did. Moving right along. Oleander, I believe you wish to ask for a favor from Gwyn.
Yes, I'll be like walking towards the gardens soon after getting the mask. And I'll be waiting for Gwen near the hedge maze garden. If I remember correctly, you said that there was one.
Correct. There is indeed a hedge maze.
Yeah, I'll be waiting near the entrance of that.
All right. Oleander, you are waiting in front of the hedge maze. Gwen, I presume you will be following close at hand.
I'm sorry, you cut out there, Maris. I'm following close at hand.
Yeah, I presume you'll be following to meet with Oleander.
Yes. I would see him and then follow him into the hedge maze.
How do you be handling all this, Gwen?
Well, this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say he asked very casually.
Well, this given moment, a bit anxious, learning light of your, well, hidden threats. Isolating me like this in a hedge maze is, not potentially good for me, but outside of that moment, I feel fine.
This is more of to keep away the prying eyes, as I do attract a lot of attention. And he like motions towards the fact that he is almost 7 feet tall.
I mean, there are other tall people here, but, you know, I would also point out your, recognizable, butt, but, yeah. Understandable, but, that's why. Has this just become a wellness check, or?
A little bit of a wellness check, but also I want your thoughts on Alto and Adora being involved in all this.
How so? You mean how Alto carries a weapon capable of killing the star?
Yes, but also maybe his if he has other ideas, other wants, and whether or not he's actually here for his sister. Two of them were. Me and Luella happened to catch up with each other yesterday after the events in the observatory, and we happened to eavesdrop on the two of them fighting, and the two of them don't actually seem to be getting along at the moment, Alto and Adora.
I mean, siblings squabble, but in all honesty, I don't think they pose, well, a mortal threat to Essie. Between their intellect and their desires, they're much more likely to try to get into Essie's pants before into his chest.
I don't know, that Alto can be an actor. Adora, I don't believe she has the makings of such, but Alto, you can't get into people's pants like him without being very charismatic and adjusting who you need to be. I think there's the entire possibility he's more than he seems.
Is charisma such a sign of suspicion now, Oleander?
It's not just one sign of suspicion. Suspicion tends to be layers and layers. It's more than one thing. He wouldn't be suspicious with charisma alone. But the fact that he might have the possibility, I shouldn't say fact, what's wrong with me? The possibility of him owning a crystal weapon is layering the suspicion on. And he is here, of all places.
Well, go ahead, apologies.
No, you speak.
I assure you that if the siblings were truly to hatch a plot to slay the star, they would not be acting so alone. I mean, I have been firsthand to see how much their parents capitulate to their whims. I assure you that if the twins were working on this, then at the very least Queen Calpurnia would be using her powers to edge things closer in her favor. Obstructing me from coming would be a good start, for instance. I don't think they would be attempting such a feat without a parent helping them.
What if Alto was doing it alone?
No. I've seen the way he dotes on his sister. Why he's joined her in taking the blame for things that weren't his fault. I have faith in how they care for each other. Nothing tactile in terms of evidence, but I trust in that.
Considering how both my siblings baby over me, I will hand myself over to your judgment only because I have experience in it myself. But I do have other suspicions. And mostly only to see if there's anything deeper going on here, because my gods. If another thing happens, I would not be surprised at this point. Considering how deep this all goes. Gwyn, I think you, more than anyone, would realize that we are in the midst of a conspiracy at best. And at worst, Well, you know what would happen, I think, if it was found out that the entire royal family was hiding stuff from the public, and that all became out in the open, so we would say.
I assure you, dear Oleander, if such a thing were to come to light, I would be one of the first to capitulate on it. But I truly have faith that, despite any misgivings the royal family may have, even they would not seek to anger the Celestial Court.
You might have more faith than I do. I think you would know that.
I also know them more than you do.
Hmm.
But regardless, I will assure you that I have had my men back home look into certain matters regarding crystal weaponry in the royal castle at the very least.
And I have my father looking into Prince Cyrus's death. I have been speaking with Parthenia, though Parthenia doesn't know everything. Parthenia just knows of the dagger. We believe that Prince Cyrus might be somehow connected to all this. Him and his death. Because, again, nothing here seems unconnected. I feel like we're gonna have to dig up this entire garden to find all the secrets buried. Where is there not a skeleton?
At that point, we might as well ask Dame Leonora for quite literally everything she has. Although, I feel as though Essie could trust her, at the very least.
I'm hoping... I asked Essie if he could find Queen Isolde's diary. We'd be lucky if it was here, but I'm hedging my bets that it could. Queen Isolde's personal thoughts would open a lot of doorways for us right now.
I see. Well, I'm afraid I'm quite unhelpful in such intellectual matters. I am to be Essie's blade, and until we have a clear idea of who to point at, I fear that my only use will be entertainment for our dear star.
Well, if you're a blade, if you're a shield, would you mind joining me tonight for something?
Out of character, is tonight the masquerade? I misremember.
No, that won't be until the next in-game day.
Gotcha. Then, yes, I would have no problem joining you, but pray tell, what are you aiming to accomplish tonight?
Essie, I'm not sure if Essie was involved in the invitations, but let's presume there was a little shenanigans afoot. And that Essie had put his hand into the invitations. Or let's just presume that the Celestial Court themselves would know everything and not invite a witch. Outside of Damus, who we know had his outside Damus, who we know his master, what invited him, got him his invitation. There's only 3 people who we could consider guests here on the estate. Calm, Lapis, and Harriet Lockhart. Considering that considering that Wilde and you can speak for Skull not being a witch, and Topaz can speak on behalf of her sister, that just leaves me being very suspicious of Harriet Lockhart. Why would a woman like Cordelia, of Cordelia's age, because I'm assuming Cordelia is old enough to not actually need a chaperone, and this is more of a social obligation.
Yeah, see, Cordelia, the Lockharts are a very old money, old-fashioned family. So Cordelia is young. She's like in her early 20s, but unmarried. And therefore, Harriet was said to be her, her chaperone to keep things proper.
Yeah, I have my suspicions that Harriet might not be quite so innocent, though it's only suspicions as all this could backfire on me. I have sent out a letter and a ruse to hopefully meet with Harriet under a guise tonight. And quite frankly, I'm not as hardened. I'm rather fragile. In a one-on-one with a witch of any power, I'm afraid I might fall to spells. But also, if it happens to be that someone else gets the letter, or Harriet herself, danger. So I need someone there to make sure things don't get out of hand. I want to know what a witch might be thinking, or if there's even a witch here. Again, this is all a gamble, a hope. And I need protection.
Before we agree to anything, I must ask, what exactly did you say in that letter? Because depending on what you may have spoken, I would not be surprised if she were to bring up your past rumors of witch sympathies and have Dame Leonora arrive with her or in her stead with her guards.
That is the funny thing. If she can read that full letter, then she has to know something about witchcraft, because I did not write the letter in common. I wrote the letter in the cant. The witch's cant. So if she can read it, that likely proves something.
I see. And am I the only one you've told about this?
Yes, you're the only one who knows what I'm going to be doing tonight.
I think if we were to do this, we should invite young Topaz. I can hold my own in the fight, but if they're truly a witch, we will need someone flighty enough to, well, I hopefully will not need help, but Topaz would also be the one to report all this to Essie, as doing all this behind his back, especially with your given standing with him, might not be... I'm simply saying maybe he should know as well.
I'm planning on telling him after we've got everything down and stuff, I am at first a historian and archaeologist. I'm not going to let any personal biases get in the way of this mystery.
I see. Still, my opinion stands. At the very least, we should bring someone who will be quick with us. And I also feel they'll have things to say about your given suspicions, including Lapis. And I think that would be quite entertaining.
I said, and Oleander does laugh a little, I excluded Lapis purely upon the fact that Topaz could vouch for her.
Oh, well, I mean, not directly Topaz, but the fact that Topaz has been expressing affections for Cordelia, who happens to be related to this witch. You see where I'm coming at here?
Yes.
And I think that would be
Unfortunately.
quite funny.
You want...
Not exactly. I mean, we are allies. I just think the ensuing awkwardness would be fun to watch from the side.
I made a mistake. Oh,
No. This is fated to be, my friend. As he puts his arm around Oleander.
Oleander is rubbing at the bottom of his antlers. I think I understand why my father feels like this about Wilde.
Mhm.
I feel a migraine coming on.
Quite.
Fine, you can go ask Topaz. Both of you be on top of the church roof, ready to come through the skylight at 2 a.m. The temple skylight, not the church. Oh my god.
Understood. I will go fetch Topaz.
Also, I won't be dressed as myself.
Do you mind giving myself a description, or should I look out for whoever the lady talks to?
I think you'll know who I am. And Oleander just gives a little smile and a wink. I'll see you tonight.
Till then, young Oleander. Gwyn's got a very, look of, I know I can handle myself, but I got some shaken confidence in this plan.
Alright, Gwyn, you've been roped into the side quest. We will be moving on to Topaz.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, girly?
Topaz, you have an appointment to keep with Captain Wilde.
Indeed.
Yes, he will be presumably waiting for you in the observatory.
Okay. Topaz has been having lots of rendezvous there, so probably just keeps it, as subtle as he can. Just makes his way up.
You find the observatory is largely empty, aside from the presence of Wilde himself, as we're still in, the hours of daylight. A giant telescope is not going to do much good during the day, so people tend to not be here during daylight hours. So, upon your entrance, Captain Wilde takes notice of you and gives you what appears to be just like his usual, dashing smile. If there is any kind of air of awkwardness between you, you can tell he is doing his utmost not to let it show. But he approaches you and just, Topaz, I'm glad you came.
Of course, thank you for... Well, thank you for agreeing all the same.
Of course, of course. Think nothing of it. After all, there are many other dances to learn aside from the waltz. We must, expand your education.
Right, of course. No, let me restart there. Thank you. Thank you, Wilde.
For what?
Well, I guess before we get too focused in on the dancing, your letter meant a lot to me. And I also managed to find myself lucky enough to get a letter from Diamond as well.
Ah.
And I think between the two of you, feeling a bit more put together. So, I just thank you for help setting me back up.
Of course. I won't speak of it, but I meant every word.
I know you did.
Now, how is that fiendish woman?
Doing quite well as always, as
Very
you can
good.
imagine.
Very good.
She offered me some kind words about my current love life situation, as apparently Lapis was worried enough to try and have her take a little step in on the drama.
I don't know if I should be concerned about your eldest sister chiming in on...
It's besides the point. It's just the fact that, well, she was pleasant enough and said that I could stop by after the events to
As I think
have a
you...
little bit. Yes.
As I think you should. She would be a terrible influence on you.
I know. All of her smut work is truly something else. I think.
You caught him a little off guard at that. And if this man can like blush, he's got a little hint, the barest hint of, a rosy tint to his skin.
I mean, of course, I'm sure you've read much of her work as well.
A gentleman never tells his secrets. Now then,
Oh,
for the
naturally,
music selection, he is changing subjects. But there is a genuine smile to his features, and his body posture seems to relax as you two are joking amongst yourselves. And he selects the music, and it's something a little, casting the spell to make the music, circulate throughout the room. He chose something that's a little more up-tempo than he did last time, and he's like, now then, for this one, the tempo is faster, but I think you can handle it. I wouldn't pick something that would trip you up. So, if you will permit me, I will place my hands accordingly, and I will have you do the same. And he is going to place, a hand on your shoulder and a hand at your waist. Now, watch my footsteps, because they are a little different, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And he's sort of moving in like a little box square as he does so. This one goes 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Do you understand?
I do, of course.
Very good. Now, we'll go slowly. Small steps at first. Watch my feet. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And he sort of guides you in a small, contained circle as you do so. And there's a little bit of awkward trotting on feet at first. And he will like gently guide you through it, talk you through it. But after a while, you definitely seem to get the hang of things. You become more comfortable. He starts to, bodily guide you less and less. Very good. Yes, just so. Just so, Topaz. Now, we are going to do a trust exercise now, if you'll permit me.
By all means.
I know that you opted to take the lead when last we danced. But I would like to try leading you this time. We're going to go a little faster, a little grander, larger steps, bigger twirls, touch of drama. Sound good?
Very good.
Good. You'll be sure to leave an impression with moves like this. So, I ask you to trust me, and if you stumble, I will catch you.
And she just kind of sits there and nods slowly before picking up the nod to like be like a more of a quicker nod, just like, right. I know that there's a lot of trust that needs to be involved in, well, high-level dancing, so please, I trust you.
Nothing high-level about this, my dear. We're simply having fun. And with that, in a grand, sweeping motion, he guides you through very quick, very wide steps around the observatory. And it's, for a moment, dizzying. Like, it feels like the observatory is kind of spinning about you, and you're so concerned about your footwork. So, Topaz, in this moment, please make me a performance check.
Oh god, not performance.
Yes, performance.
Okay. That's my one that I have a very bad roll for.
I believe in you.
Okay. That's a 6.
That's a 6. So in this initial circle around the observatory, you find yourself becoming incredibly dizzy. He is moving very fast. He is twirling you about this room. And you miss a couple of steps in between, and you feel yourself start to tumble forward. However, just as he promised, he catches you, holds you firmly against him, and goes, "Eyes on me, not the room." And continues another
Right.
circuit. Make me another check, this time with advantage.
Okay. A 13?
13.
It's better.
It is better. You find your sense of rhythm. You look up at Wilde and find a focus in him. A relatively stationary point as he is leading you across the room. And you can hear him say, under his breath, to sort of help guide you, the count. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And that helps to steady your feet, steady your heart rate, and you are able to follow his lead until he stops and releases you, and it feels like the room is still spinning for a moment. And he is, breathless himself in this moment and just gives a huge grin to you. Yes. Very good. Just so.
I think, given everything, I'm kind of... Well, there's parts of it that I'm good at and parts of it that I'm bad at, but... it's all a work in progress, and that's what this is about.
So it goes when trying new things. But you know what I noticed? Different this time.
Please.
You smiled. You stopped thinking about your feet. You stopped thinking about the room surrounding you. I know that there are no observers here, but one of the great things about dancing is for that moment you are able to forget everyone else and just share a moment. So thank you for sharing that moment with me and trusting me with it.
He kind of just stands there for a moment, still like smiling, looking sort of just off in a direction. Says, it's very often that I find myself unable to stop myself from thinking, but it's a good skill to just let myself feel. And I think music is one fabulous way to truly just lose yourself in the feeling. And thus so is dancing. It makes sense that that would be the case. So, oh god, if I can dance like this, that would be... Oh, that would be good.
You will have no shortages of partners, I assure you. Have you chosen your mask for tomorrow's event?
I did. I had an idea right away.
I admit I tarried a while, but I am pleased with my selection as well. I hope that I can find you.
He'll smile at that and just say, well, I hope that I can find you too. Though, I have a feeling that I'm quite confident in my own disguise.
Ooh. Is that so? Are we about to see the awakening of your talents as a thespian?
I have seen quite a few, and I have, well, it's embarrassing to say, but I have spent many an hours in my room reenacting scenes from books and other things. So I mean, I do got a passion for it, you know that.
He has such an air of fondness about him as you are, divulging this potentially embarrassing little tidbit about yourself. But he's just got this, unwavering smile and crosses his arms over his chest like, well, I look forward to seeing the pinnacle of your charade, my dear.
And she'll just do a little bow, followed by a curtsy, and just say, I look forward to it as well.
And he gives a little bow, and the smile softens. You're going to knock him off his feet.
You think so?
I do.
I hope so too.
And unless there is anything else you would like to say to Wilde in this moment, you have a few more dancing lessons, a few more instructions, a few more steps to learn, and the afternoon passes. All right. Moving right along. Luella. Alto.
Heyo.
Yeah, heyo. Alto wished to speak with you in the den, post-dinner. So, the dinner hour passes. There's not much to report on as to the ongoings. People are, of course, talking about the masquerade. People are abuzz with excitement, the mystery, the intrigue of it all. Each of you do kind of pick up on a little odd tidbit of conversation coming from a few people about secret notes in some kind of indecipherable language. But other than that, the night passes without much event. And so you are free to make your way to the den where Alto is waiting for you.
Luella walks in and nonchalantly takes a seat, assuming there are seats in the den.
There are indeed. There are indeed. This is like a very comfortable, dark paneled room with plush leather chairs and a fireplace and a bar and a pretty cozy little spot. And Alto will join the room, shut the door behind him. It looks like for once he's kind of taken care to make sure that no one really saw his entrance. And just, well then, Miss Stalwix, thank you for meeting with me. I understand the risk considering the current circumstances.
Not so much risk as you might think, but I appreciate your care.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. After all, I would hate to so quickly lose such a amiable drinking partner.
I shall warn you if you are wanting to recreate the degree of libations as the other night. I don't think I will be able to keep up such a pace this evening.
Ha, a shame, but no, that was not my intention in inviting you here. Fun as though that might be.
Your intention is?
To thank you, personally, for what you've done. I know that my sister is difficult to talk to, and I know you certainly did not want to do it, but you did nonetheless, because I asked you to, so thank you.
You are welcome, though a deal was struck.
True enough. A bargain well struck.
And it rather seems that it did not go quite as well as I would assume you had hoped.
I don't know what I expected, in truth. But perhaps it was some foolish, misguided optimism. If I cannot get through to my sister, then I don't think anyone can.
She is rather hard-headed.
To say the least. To say the least.
So much so that to think that it would have caused an argument between you two.
Kind of quirks his head at that. An argument.
There are rumors as such.
Indeed. I can assure you, my sister and I remain as close as ever.
Can I narrative token? I mean, not narrative token. Monologue token. Alto.
Yeah,
Don't
you
go
can
for
do that. Alto was very much caught off guard there by that question, regarding an argument. He and Adora very much have an image that they like to keep up, that the two of them are a united front. Amidst all of the rumors that have been circulating about them and their tiefling blood, you know, that's been just around them for the entirety of their lives since they were born, they are each other's really, only source of companionship and, you know, comfort against, you know, their perceived evils of the world. And so the idea that that image is starting to shatter, and is visible to other people is very disheartening to him. And he does not like that at all. Well, people talk. People talk about us, particularly. But I assure you that no such arguments have been had.
Interesting. I did hear it from a credible source, but I guess everybody has their mistaken understanding of situations, occasionally.
Of course, it happens to the best of us. I would take heed that you do not believe everything you hear, Miss Stalwix, even from said credible sources.
Of course. I do almost always try to verify anything I hear, as long as it is of import.
Of course. Speaking of rumors, information, you are a person with connection. You know a lot of, I presume, given your line of work, secrets. And though I understand you are very likely contractually bound to not speak of said secrets, I would call upon your general knowledge to perhaps solve a problem of mine.
Oh.
Yes. I've stumbled upon a piece of information that was delivered to me from what I myself believe to be a credible source. I don't think they have any reason to lie to me. And I've seen it with my own two eyes.
And what would that be?
Conspiracy, madam, conspiracy. I think someone is plotting against the crown.
an interesting notion. Do you have further detail or just vague information?
He pauses a moment, looking about the room, even though it's closed and there's only you two in it. Paranoia seems to be getting the better of him in this moment. And he leans a little closer to your chair from his chair. I know of a particular dagger, one of crystal make, that appears to have the sigil of the royal family upon its hilt.
Well, that would have some rather dark implications.
Indeed. Implications that I rather refuse to believe. I think this is a ruse. I think someone, somehow, planted this, created this, fashioned this, to sully the name of my family. And I wanted to know, through your multitude of connections, both in and out of the capital, if there's anyone that you suspect of discontent. I know it's impossible to think that everybody is happy with the crown. That's just stupid. But if
I
there
have,
was...
of course, heard of many such groups as well, yes.
Well, should anything specific come to mind, I would have you tell me, and I will reward you most handsomely for your assistance in this matter.
I shall make sure to pull upon every resource at my disposal.
Thank you. No contract required this time?
Contracts need not be written necessarily. After all, a favor is still a favor, whether on paper or not.
Fair enough.
I do have a passing curiosity, though, somewhat in line with this.
By all means.
I noticed it during one of the previous trials. There's something strange, and with what you're asking me here, it brings me yet more curiosity. I remember seeing something rather special about your sword during then.
Ah. It is of unique make, I grant you. But nothing nefarious about it, if that is what you are implying.
Of course not. I just noticed something that was rather peculiar about it.
Peculiar.
I was curious if you would allow me to inspect it.
Kinda make me a persuasion check.
A persuasion check? Oh no. Luella's terrible at those.
As you
18.
roll an 18. Yep. Yeah, he kind of eyes you curiously. Like, he's not connecting the two dots here. But with a kind of a shrug of his shoulders, he unsheathes the rapier at his hip and hands it to you. And the best way that I can describe this weapon is it's like that moment in The Princess Bride when we see Inigo Montoya's sword for the first time, and it just has this very glittery sheen to, you know, not just the hilt and the handle, but also the blade itself. Its color is still, you know, a silvery steel, but there's something about just the way the light catches it that doesn't look like metal per se. And you would only really recognize this because of you know, the implications that Topaz brought up in your previous meeting.
But it doesn't look similar to the daggers
It
Luella
is,
already saw.
yeah, it's a totally different color.
It looks so strange. Might I ask, what is it made of?
Alas, I'm not a smith, Miss Stalwix, but I have been told by my father that it is of a unique make, whatever that means.
You cut out.
He said it's of a unique make, whatever that means.
Also, can I insight check him?
Sure. You
I
just
want to
check.
see if he's feeling nervous or just chill. It seems like he's actually unaware of what it's made of.
Nat
Natural 20.
20. He seems to be telling the truth. He seems to be forthcoming. He might be, you know, a master of the blade. He certainly is not a master of how blades are made. He, you know, as far as you can tell, he seems to be telling the truth. And he's got a kind of indifferent air about him.
Well, she goes to hand it, or, you know, show that she is done looking at it, so you can put it away.
He sheathes it again.
I will most certainly look into your interests. I may ask you to visit me again soon. For more business, of course.
Of course.
In regards to a different query.
Oh? Something on your mind as well, Miss Stalwix?
Rumors and rumors and rumors.
What else is there to talk about these days?
Surely nothing of substance. And I am sure you would be glad for your favor to be paid in kind rather expediently.
What would you ask of me?
As I said, I would ask you to meet me when I request.
I'm to be at your beck and call, then.
If but for a short moment. For some reason, I rather think that you won't mind being on the other side of such a situation for a little while.
Huh. Very well, Miss Stalwix. I will play along for the time being. You know how to reach me.
Of course.
Oh. Not nearly as fun as our last encounter, but I enjoyed your company nonetheless.
And I yours. I'm surprised that you didn't already open up a bottle while we were here, though.
Well, it seems so terribly insensitive to drink yourself into a stupor while talking about the potential downfall of your family.
I feel as though the potential downfall of one's family and potential kingdom is a wonderful time to drink.
He just nods at that and stands up, walks over to the bar counter, doesn't even like check to see what it is, just picks up a bottle of whatever and a couple of mismatching glasses, brings it over, pours you a very stiff drink, pours himself one, hands you the glass, gives you a little toast, knocks it back.
She gives a toast, but drinks a lot more conservatively.
And unless there's anything else you wish to bring up with Alto, the two of you spend a quiet couple, minutes with each other, but ultimately part ways quietly and discreetly. All right.
So much to do.
So much to do. So much to do. Topaz.
Mm-hmm.
You wish to speak to Damus.
Yes.
And you invited him to your room.
That is correct.
All right. It's post-dinner time. You're just starting to kind of unwind for the day. And you hear a knock at your door. At first, it's like almost like so soft. You kind of wonder if like you imagined it. But then it comes a little louder, a little more clearly. And Lapis Lapis looks at you like, we expecting company.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to leave or nothing like that. In fact, I think you may get a kick out of it.
Oh?
It's Damus.
Ew.
You can leave if you want.
What'd you invite him here for?
Simply out of concern for his whole being a wet puppy thing.
You
I don't want him to be used.
You don't have to... I know you probably feel bad for him, but you don't have to make a project out of him. You could just let him stay a wet puppy.
I mean, I know some people would be into that. Maybe perhaps Oleander is, but it's... I did him a good turn in the whole way a few nights ago. And I think it helped. And I don't know. I just kind of wanted to check in on him.
Ugh, you're so nice.
I know. I think that's a good quality of mine.
All right, let him in.
You're welcome to leave.
No, I kind of want to see how this plays out.
Fair enough. And she'll just quickly, this conversation having lasted like a minute, probably hear like another quick rap on the door, like from Damus, just hoping to see if they're actually there. And Topaz just puts away the dress that they were working on tailoring for tomorrow, and goes to open the door and just sees Damus there, and she's like, ah.
You actually see he started to walk away, like he was really glad you didn't answer the door.
Damus, I'm here.
Huh? Oh, looks around, looks over his shoulder, looks around the hallway, no one's there. And he just kind of nods. He doesn't want to like say anything, so he just kind of shuffles awkwardly into your room. Notices Lapis is there, who just kind of eyeing him up, and he's like, hello?
It's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, we don't bite. No, Furbolgs don't bite, do they?
I mean, we can. You ever get bit by a cow? Kind of
No,
hurts.
no.
Oh,
Please,
yeah, that's right. Never mind.
yeah, please don't bite me.
I'm not gonna bite you.
Okay.
We can get that one thing straight. Lapis will be not as much a part of this conversation as she wants to be. But, I mean, given everything, I just kind of wanted to check in on you. Seems like you've had some success with Oleander.
Visibly flushing at that, and looks over nervously at Lapis, who has made herself very comfortable in her armchair, and she's like pulled out like a little bag of sweets that she's just eating as she watches this conversation unfold. I don't know if it's polite to talk about it in front of other people, but
I mean, Lapis you knew, right?
oh, it was so obvious. You're mooning over him something fierce. Huh? Oh no, oh no. He just kind of sinks into his own chair.
Now, I'm gonna turn this around. Who do you think I fancy in this event, Damus? I believe in you. You can read people at least that well, I hope.
Well, I mean, you seem quite at ease with Essie. People are talking about you and Gwyn. So I would assume those two, or one or the other?
See, it's not that hard. If you can tell what's going on with me.
I guess that's true.
Now, the reason I called you here was just to check up on you. In which I must ask, given conversations, he is treating you well, right?
Of course. No, of course. Mr. Oleander has been... Well, he's been remarkably kind. I don't...
Just hope he wasn't being overprotective.
Well... He has his ways. I think... he worries in his own way. But... I don't think it's anything bad if that's what you're worried about.
Maybe just a touch. The rumors around him haven't been too kind.
No, no, they haven't. I was worried for a while that I would only make things worse for him. Considering, what people say about me, and he glances over at Lapis kind of nervously, and, well, I mean, you know.
Oh, Demas. Now, when you come to this masquerade tomorrow, I'm sure you have something planned.
Yes, I did choose a mask.
Good, that's good.
There wasn't a lot of choice by the time I got there, but that's okay. That's okay. I still like what I got.
So, here's what I want to know. And here's what I want out of this. It would make me feel better, considering the situations we find ourselves in, that you can have a bit of a backbone in some of these cases. So, what I want you to do is I want you to talk to me for 20 seconds without saying
20 talk about what?
Well, if you're going to be in another kind of character to disguise yourself.
Is that what you do?
Hey, miss. The whole point is to conceal your identity, and people can guess who you are. If you come in there and you're stuttering like that, not that anything's wrong with stuttering, but just people are gonna figure it out immediately.
And that's a bad thing.
I mean, I guess if you don't want to play the game, it's not a bad thing.
I mean, I kind of figured it'd be okay if I got found out right away, because then, you guys would see me and know me, and we, but I guess that's not fun, huh?
You ever had fun?
Well, sure. I've had fun. I have fun doing my work and my research. That's fun.
Miss, what do you do to relax?
You can see he kind of like.
It shouldn't take this long.
he's pausing way too long. Lapis just says from across the room, "Oh, Topaz, this is so sad."
Tone it down a bit, Lapis. We're trying here. Anything?
I mean,
Oh no.
I read other books, I guess, and sometimes I cook, and that's relaxing.
It's a step. It's a step. I mean, I'm sure... Well, actually, let me start here. Have you and Oleander kissed?
Instantly, like, steam coming out of his ears, like, just cartoonishly red.
I mean, I'm sure he's held you. Do you find that relaxing? Or are you a steaming pile of nerves like you are right now?
I mean, my heart kind of feels like it's gonna explode out of my chest, so no, I don't think that's very relaxing at all. It's not unpleasant, though.
That's good. I mean, I get it. It's the times when I'm with folks like Essie, I feel like my heart's about to burst out of my chest at all times, too. But it's a good kind of yearning.
Yeah, it's kind of nice once I get past the heart palpitations.
Okay. Let's get back on subject here. Do you have anything you're planning on wearing tomorrow?
Kind of looks down at his suit that he's wearing now.
Oh, please don't tell me that you're just planning to wear the same outfit you always wear.
Is that not good?
It's just like Topaz is thinking through all of the magical scenes of balls and everything. It's just like, No, it's not good.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure Oleander wouldn't care, but these things are romantic. They're grand. Do you need any sort of new suit? I could tailor one for you.
I couldn't ask that of you. I'm sure you are very busy, working on your own.
I have 15 suits over there, all in various...
That's so many suits.
I know it's a lot of suits, but the thing is that when you can disguise yourself naturally, you can change your form to however you want to. So naturally, I have many different outfits of many different sizes for depending on whatever the occasion it is that I want to be having. So I'm asking you, do you want a suit?
I don't need a suit. I mean, mine fits me just fine. As he says this, Topaz, you look him over, and with your sharp tailor's eye, his suit in fact does not fit him. It is in fact too small. He has kind of outgrown it. It's too short in the ankles. It's too short at the wrists. It's just a little too tight. His waistcoat buttons are kind of tugging apart for dear life, and it's pretty severely patched up.
Topaz just kind of taking this all in for a second. She says, "Stand still, Damus." And they're just going to take out, like, a set of, like, a notepad with some thread to kind of just... basically just go full tailor as quickly as possible to gather his measurements and everything. And just as quick as lightning. They've done this so many times before. Just gather all of the information necessary to get a properly fitted suit.
And you see at this, seeing your flurry of movement, getting measurements of Damus, Lapis has actually stood up from her chair, and she's collecting your fabric samples, and is sort of your shadow, and is trying to like color match him to like find, like the right shade that works for him. And just, well, now that I know it's a makeover, of course I'm gonna help out.
I don't know are you ready for makeup, Damus? Would you be willing to use makeup?
What?
Makeup.
Just stares blankly at you.
Damus, you don't... Right, hermit.
So
Right.
So makeover? And Lapis's eyes just sparkle.
Hey, if you want to makeover him, then please, by all means.
All right, Damus, sit down. And she points at the vanity, and he is like sat like a well-trained dog. And she is just all up in his face, trying to like get color match him, get the right shade of foundation. She's mixing stuff, on the back of her hand, trying to get that right shade of green. And it's a fun little challenge for her. And she's having a grand time. Poor Damus looks so flustered though.
Topaz, meanwhile, is looking through their suits, trying to find one that is closely matched to the tailoring necessary. Pulls one out, it's like, okay, I think this will do, and gets him ready, brings the suit over to him, like, can you put this on? If you need to get changed, the bathroom's over there.
Okay, sure. If that's okay. And he looks over at Lapis, who is still, like, painting his eyebrows on, like, making sure they're, like, on fleek. Yeah, go on. I gotta find the right, eyeshadow for you, so give me a moment. Go put on your suit. And he'll gather up the bundle of fabric in his arms and head over to your restroom, get changed, and when he comes out, he's in his nice new suit. and he kind of walks awkwardly in it. Like, he's very used to, the uncomfortable comfort of his previous suit. It was something familiar to him. But now he's got so much more room to work with that his gait looks odd.
And Topaz just kind of smiling, seeing, even though he feels off about it, just smiling, seeing him like look put together for probably the first time.
Yep.
But Topaz knows about orcs.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, you look handsome, Damus.
You think so?
I do. Lapis, I know you're more for the fairer sex, but
Yeah, he's pretty cute. Definitely better. Still some room for improvement, though.
always room for improvement. Never get it right on the first go.
Could do with the haircut.
That's up to him if he wants to get a haircut. Otherwise, we can style it for him. And Topaz will just kind of grab Damus and just kind of gesture him along to a full body mirror and just say, not bad.
He looks in the mirror and he sort of takes in his reflection, and seeing this nice, clean-cut suit just hanging so expertly, off of his shoulders. And it really accents the length of his legs, the narrow taper of like his hips, and he kind of angles his body to like look at himself from a few varying angles and just, it looks really nice.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing what a spot of fashion can do for your confidence.
It's kind of like its own magic.
Now, I'm no magician myself, but this is something I know, and I'm confident in it.
And it's really okay for me to have this. I don't really have anything to give you in return.
It's okay. There are still some pins in there that I have for marking the measurements and what to take in and such, so I'll need to keep it overnight to finish that up, but bring it by tomorrow morning. Whether or not you stay all masked up in the masquerade tomorrow or not, I want you to... Wearing this, I think, will be good.
Thank you. You've done so much for me, and you barely know me. I mean, you know some things about me. He looks at Lapis again. Just a very knowing look that you interpret as he's referring to the truths that were divulged in your last group meeting, but he cannot speak of them, in front of Lapis. Why would you help me?
I think it's 'cause when I look at you, I see a version of myself long since past. And I'm not the most confident person, despite what you may think and notice of me. I stutter all the time. But I'm doing my best. And when I look at you, I just want you to be feeling your best too. Maybe it's a little a little patronizing in a way, but I think that's kind of the gist of it.
I think you're plenty confident, Stoneheart, and I think if I were half as brave as you, I think things might be a little different for me.
Something to work on then.
Mm.
Now go ahead and get that taken off. I'll get it
Right,
finished up
right.
for you.
Of course. Of course. And he'll duck back into the restroom. And it takes a little bit longer for him to come out, and you can hear him like shuffling in there as he is very clearly trying to peel the clothes off of him without stabbing himself from the pins. But he finally gets it and reemerges, and funnily enough stands a little taller in his ill-fitting suit just because, again, it's familiar to him. And passes off the new suit back to you.
I really do gotta get you a bit of a more natural and regular wardrobe. But that's a problem for later.
I mean, the one suit is fine. I mean, well, two after this. Two suits is plenty.
I just don't want you to be wearing something with holes in it.
Is there a new hole? I thought I patched it up.
That's right over there.
Looks down at his elbow. Well,
Go on. It's alright.
well, something for me to work on tonight, I suppose.
Have a pleasant rest, Davis.
Thank you, Stoneheart. And Miss Stoneheart, thank you, too. Just be sure to stop by before the masquerade tomorrow so I can do your face. I just got the right foundation mixed. I don't want to go into waste. Right. Right. That would be wasteful. I will definitely stop by. Thank you, both. And with that, he'll give you a awkward little bow. And unless you have anything else to say to him, he will exit.
That's all.
Cool. I know we have one last scene on our agenda. However, we just are about to hit that 4-hour mark. So I think this is where we will end things for tonight on that adorable little scene. Building Damus's confidence from the ground up.
Needs a lot of work considering he doesn't know if he's had fun.
Bro has never had fun a day in his life.
Jesus Christ.
Had one bit of fun and it was a kiss.
Yup. And even then, his heart almost burst. So, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my players for playing. I hope you all had fun. I know I certainly did. We will resume our game in 2 weeks. That will be July the 2nd. We will resume then. So until then, take care, my friends. We will see you next time. Have a very good rest of your night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.